the one from Adventure, that one had really I really liked the voice for the Adventure Omnimon, and I don't know that one the Adventure Omnimon just seemed to be a lot more heroic, and every scene he was in was just a lot more climactic. And he really did this one didn't really need I the Adventure Omnimon didn't really need all di- those long stretches of dialogue and stuff because he got all of his character development from his rookie form. So I must say I prefer the Adventure Omnimon over this one, but this one the X Evolution Omnimon is still good. The other character worth mentioning is Gallantmon. He's another one of the Royal Knights in this film. But he refers to himself as Dukemon, which is actually his Japanese name. He was pretty interesting because he's kind of the polar opposite of Omnimon because he actually questions his orders and he has more of a grasp on the concepts of right and wrong. And it's interesting seeing these two interact. The only thing I didn't like about him though was that some of the film's unexplained elements are associated with him, and I kind of didn't like that medieval way that he uh that his that kind of medieval syntax that he had, always refer saying such things as I Dukemon will will help you reach your ultimate goal or something like that. And he reminded me a lot of Dr. Rip Studwell from Fairly Odd Parents, but let's not get into that. But other than that, pretty decent character. And there were several others actually, including Wargreymon X and Metal Gurumon X. These guys were really interesting. I really liked the animation for those two. Uh, the fight scenes they were in were amazing. The and their situations, the situations they found themselves in, being hunted by the Royal Knights, uh, it it provided for a lot of interesting, ponderous moments that many of the other characters didn't have, except Omnimon and Gallantmon. And so yeah, not much more than I can say about those two. And there were other characters throughout the film, but they were pretty much minor elements. And they included a Mummymon, Wizardmon, Sylphimon, and a few others. They don't appear much, except for a final battle with a bunch of weird looking monsters. I can't remember what their names were. But they're I guess they were corrupted forms of Dorumon. So yeah, overall, many of the characters were good. I wouldn't compare them to the characters from the first three seasons, but they were still good in their own right. Much better than anything seen in the final two seasons. The last thing I want to talk about is the villain. Like I said, his name is Yggdrasil, but if you've seen Digimon Data Squad, he actually seems to be an alternate version of King Drazel from who was the final villain from that season. Again, comparing this version of the character to the one from Data Squad, I actually like this one better because he seemed to be a lot more complex than the one from Data Squad. That one was way too. I don't know. He just wasn't very interesting in my opinion. And on top of that, he had that really bad voice, which I think it really hurt his character development. And plus, I like the I think the motives of this version of the character are more interesting, and his motive is ultimately survival. I don't want to give too much away about that, but I will say that that's his ultimate motivation is survival. Whereas the one from Data Squad, his motivation was essentially revenge. Is you don't really see this villain very much in the movie. You really don't actually see him until the end, but the way that everyone talks about him throughout the film, he really gives him that presence of a tyrannical villain, someone who's an immediate threat, and you can really see the consequences of his leadership decisions, which I think make the story a little bit more interesting. So in the end, I'd have to say he's not one of the great villains. Like he's not. You can't really compare him to say Myotismon, the Dark Masters, or Diaboromon, or the D Reaper, but he's still decent. He serves his purposes well in this movie, so can't really say too much against him. So now to finish off, uh, I know I said that I mentioned in my Data Squad review that I thought it would have been a better idea to release this film throughout theatrically instead of making another season. I guess I'm gonna have to take. I guess I made that claim a bit prematurely because now I really don't think this film could have survived a theatrical release. It would have failed miserably because I dare say it's not really for mainstream audiences. It's still, even though it's you don't really have to know about the series in order to watch it. It still pretty much only appeals to Digimon fans. So and and on top of that, it really is not as good as the U.S. theatrical release of the Digimon movie. I mean, I still prefer that one by far. So overall, Digimon X Evolution is, you can tell they really tried to make something different with this film, and to a degree they succeeded. Some of it was good, some of it was not exactly a step in the right direction, but overall, I could say it's a satisfying viewing experience. So if you like Digimon and you want to know a little, and you're in the mood to see something different other than the main series, then I say give this one a watch. So my final ver so and just to give a numerical uh, a numerical indicator of my thoughts on this film, I give it, I'd say 3 out of 5 stars. So that's my review of Digimon X Evolution. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.